State. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And you know what's coming up soon in a couple of days as of this recording?
Valentine's.
Well, also that. I was going to say the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is coming up. The Chiefs once again.
Sure.
Which is weird because usually I'm the first one to come up with a sport. Yeah.
Yeah. Ursher.
Halftime show. Very excited for that.
You know, I gotta say, for a man who very vocally, I mean, he has confessed on multiple occasions to being a cheater, has aged remarkably well. Like, is still
Unbothered.
super fucking likable. Is likable to this day. In contrast to his contemporary Justin Timberlake. Oh Lord. Oh,
Dude,
Lord.
I watched his SNL thing. I forget what I was doing. We were like relaxing, I think last Sunday or something like that. And just put it on, and I haven't. He's not seeming like he's doing too well. I'll say that.
I don't think so. I mean, did you see his thing that went viral this week?
He apologizes to absolutely fucking nobody.
Do you know what we're talking about, Cassie?
What?
Okay,
I have
so
no clue.
let me
I am
give
in
the
a
rundown.
Complete fucking.
You're in a German
over
bubble.
here.
It's okay. Yeah, we get it. But so this week, so basically Britney Spears, because after all the hubbub, all the Justin Timberlake hate after her book was released,
Right.
because he was a piece of shit to her when they dated, she came out and basically was like, it's in the past. Like, I forgive him for everything that happened. Like, I'm sorry if it's caused any issues in his life currently. And also I think that I enjoy his new music. Like, she came out very kind of graciously. And then a video surfaced of him this week. He was getting ready, the intro to Cry Me a River starts playing. And he says, I'd like to apologize to absolutely fucking nobody. And people, I'm just like, dude, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything. Just say nothing.
You could have literally not fucking said a word
and come off so much better. So much better.
Wow.
Yeah. So the internet's coming for his throat.
Well, it's just not the early 2000s anymore. We're just that
you're
whole
getting what you
energy,
deserve.
the whole him and Jimmy Fallon on SNL and that kind of vibe. It just, and that ain't it. We're not there anymore.
Know when
Nobody
you've peaked.
Know it there.
You know what I mean? Know when you've peaked.
Yeah.
You had
and
a
then-
massive career that was better than most people ever get to see.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Pivot.
Dude.
Pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot. Pivot.
Oh man.
Pivot.
But one of my favorite things though this week, I know we were talking about it earlier, but I cannot say enough how unhinged and so silly these Taylor Swift conspiracies are. It is,
Girl.
She's a deep state agent.
I just don't even understand. What
The White House made her popular.
It's been a conspiracy. She is a tool of the deep state.
Yeah, and she got with Travis Kelce, who infamously did a pro-vaccine commercial
God.
one time in his career. So they're obviously two woke agents.
Can you imagine if you legitimately believed that? I can't.
What though? What is?
To get you to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have either of them come out and said anything to that? No.
No. Nothing.
Okay.
No,
You know what I usually do though is I do wait and see who Taylor is going to tell me to vote for. Usually.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see.
And
I can see.
I'm not undermining the power of celebrity. I'm absolutely certain that there are some people who will vote however Taylor votes. But that's the case no matter what. You're not going to stop that. And like you said, it's not like she's come out in support of Joe Biden. I mean, I think she came out years and years ago, not in support of anyone, but basically saying that she denouncing Trump at some point. And that just set the righties off. They got really upset about that because she's Miss Americana. She's all American girl. And because she hadn't said anything for such a long time, I think they thought that she was on their side. And then she was like, no.
Why? I am not. And because I am a woman. Yeah, she was on her documentary basically saying like it's not like all these things that are anti-LGBT and women's rights. I have to say something. And she was like, it was like a big argument where they did not want her to say anything because you alienate, a certain percentage of fans, but
I think she's okay.
She's doing just fine.
I think she's going to do all right.
Not to worry.
I do worry, though, because she is such a visible celebrity. And so, I mean, she barely can leave her house as it is. I wonder now, these people who are... And that's the thing, too. It's these people who are so fucking unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are the ones who are like perpetuating this like idea and this...
Well, and I mean, everything that she had to deal with the deepfake porn on X, which is so deeply terrifying to me. I feel like people aren't talking about this issue enough. Here's what it makes me think of. So a long, long time ago on the podcast, I talked about like the most embarrassed I've ever been at school was when my diary was read. And it was such a deep invasion of privacy. It was mortifying. Can you imagine? Because it's very easy to find that technology. Going in and a fake naked picture has been distributed around the school. This is what these poor
naked
babies
picture that looks convincing enough. Because I mean, people have been doing this for a long time. I mean, I think there was a movie in the 90s where that was, it was A Walk to Remember, I think, where somebody used like a proto version of Photoshop to take her face and put it on someone else's body. But that was the 90s. And it looked like you cut someone's face off and put it on someone else's body. Like now you have like deep fake technology that can show people talking and moving and like doing realistic. All kinds of things that looks very realistic. And, I read an article about this and it said that since 2018, AI generated nudes have surged by more than 290% on the top 10 websites that share explicit photos and material. And there are only like 10 states that have any legislation relating to deepfake images in this way. California is one. In California, you can actually sue the individual who created and shared the content for up to $150,000. But a lot of states, a lot of like legislation has not caught up to what's happening. And then this whole thing happens with Taylor Swift, and thank God they are now doing something about it. It is pretty bipartisan at this stage, but it's unfortunate that it took a celebrity having this happen to them because, like you said, youth suicides are up. There was just one in 2021. There was a girl named Mia Janine, who was a 14-year-old who died by suicide as a result of being bullied because of images that were created, fake images that were created and distributed at her school.
Poor baby.
I can't imagine at 14, you're so like...
Everything is huge. Yeah.
Your whole world is what is right around you, and if your whole world is school and that's what's happening, I mean...
I think at 14, I was probably lying about still reading the Babysitter Club books. You know what I mean? Like,
you're barely in high school. Like you are 14, you're a freshman.
Okay, well, I probably wasn't then.
Yeah, you're barely in high school. But I mean, I looked at pictures of me at 14 recently.
Baby.
Literally the babiest of baby. You think you're grown because you're a teenager, but you're not. You're still baby.
Oh my God. I just wish, I know every, generation has said this, and it won't change anything, but I just wish that when you're that age, you could know in your heart and soul and body that fucking high school doesn't matter one bit
at all.
No.
Not even a little
Not
bit.
even a little. Oh, Jesus.
Not even a little fucking bit.
I feel like so much of our culture, and I don't know if this has changed at all because I don't know what it's like to be a teenager now, but whenever I was a teenager, and I'm sure whenever you guys were teenagers, so much of our culture and like pop culture was centered around high school. I feel like there were so many.
High School Musical.
Yeah, and like 90s movies, like every single teen romance movie took place in a high school.
Right.
And it made it seem like it was this big thing that was going to be like this highlight of your life, and then you look back and you're like, oh, it
really isn't. Not even a little.
Not even close.
No.
This is the best years of your life. God, I hope not.
Seriously.
So seriously. So I do want to just say, to kind of just put a cap on this, on January 30th, a bipartisan group of U.S. senators introduced a bill in response to what happened to Taylor Swift that would make spreading non-consensual sexualized digital forgeries made using AI illegal.
That would be good. Yeah.
And like I said, it is bipartisan, but there are steps that you can take if something happens to you. You can submit requests to Google and Bing to de-index deepfake porn content from search results to help reduce the visibility of AI image-based abuse. But unfortunately, it just seems like there's not a whole lot you can do. There are some websites that if you contact them will take stuff down, but it's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. So hopefully this legislation being introduced will make a difference in these things even appearing in the first place, because things spread online like fucking wildfire, and it's hard to scrub something.
Came from 4chan, which is, the fucking sewer of the internet. That bubbled up onto the more visible 4chan that is X these days.
Yep.
But
X-chan.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, I mean, things are terrible, as we know, and talk about frequently. I want to ask you guys, just to bring a little joy into the conversation. I spent a lot of time on TikTok yesterday. I had a pretty lazy afternoon. And what are some things that are bringing you joy on the internet?
On the internet?
I mean, I guess just in general.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I did spend a decent amount on TikTok yesterday as well. Man, my algorithm is solidly mine. For whatever reason, I'm on palm reading TikTok.
Love it.
Nowadays. I also discovered that Emma Watson has the most attractive sibling I've ever seen. Alex Watson is...
Yeah, I saw that TikTok too, where because he was on a cooking show with her and people didn't know who he was.
He looks like her twin.
Well, but he's not. I don't think he's not an actor or anything. I don't think.
I see what you're saying.
So people didn't know him, But okay, so speaking of that, my favorite thing on speaking of celebrity siblings, my favorite thing that has been popping up that's been bringing me joy on TikTok is Black teenagers discovering that the Bee Gees are white.
Oh,
it's I can't tell you how many of these videos have come across my For You page at this point. It is the most delightful thing I've ever seen, because they're just first it's phases. It's first shock. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then deep respect.
Yeah.
And then just vibes,
I've gotten a lot of music reaction TikToks too, where it's Black people listening to Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time.
I saw one where it was Black people listening to Charlie Daniels' band Double Went Down to Georgia for the first time. And I'm like, it's the fucking best. But just watching people discover the Bee Gees, and I forget sometimes that his voice is so insane.
Yeah.
And then these three brothers, and they're all the whitest people you've ever seen.
Super white.
So Australian.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they got soul. It's amazing.
Soul is soul.
I think the one that shocked me when I was young was Son of a Preacher Man.
Oh yeah, same. I thought that she was Black for a long time.
No.
Yeah. I was like, she's one of ours for sure. No, okay.
Turns out she is not.
No. And she's British, even. On top of it.
Oh, she's British?
I think so. Let me Google that, because if I am wrong, I don't want to.
I don't want that heat.
I don't want the heat. I don't want a bunch of people in my DMs. I don't need that. Yes. An English singer.
There you go.
Mary Isabel Catherine Bernadette O'Brien.
Is she Catholic? No.
I would assume.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's all the big names. Yeah. All the big names.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, she was born in London.
If she was a man, she'd be Christopher, Michael, John,
Jonathan,
James,
Henry. Absolutely. Well, I think with that kind of stuff, we've covered some celebrity siblings.
Yeah.
We've talked about how hot Alex Watson is.
Yeah. What have we been doing sleeping on that guy?
I think he's pretty tall. He looks tall. He looks like tall and lanky. I wonder how tall he actually is.
Let's look. Let's look right now.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, he's quite a bit taller than her, but maybe she's short.
I love the internet. Like,
you can find anything about anybody.
Anything. Oh, 5'9".
Oh, okay. So average height.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I'll tell you whose brother I think is hot is Zac Efron. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, Zac Efron is fucking hot. So whatever genes they have flowing through that family are legitimately being passed all the way down.
Yeah. Okay.
His brother Dylan Efron. Check him out.
He looks like he's hot in the way that like I could run into him at a bar. Hot.
He's hot in the Hallmark movie. He runs the Christmas tree lot. Hot.
100%.
He is the one that's
he's
going.
Christmas tree farm hot. Yes. Yes.
Hunky.
He's got like he has a good looking. Like he looks great with facial hair. It looks really natural for him. He looks good in a flannel. Yeah. Okay. I like it. Mm-hmm. I recently discovered that, because I rewatched all of Game of Thrones, I recently discovered that Florence Pugh's brother is on that show. He's so if you ever watched Game of Thrones, he's Marcella's like betrothed. It's like Pedro Pascal Oberon's nephew or whatever on that show. He looks...
This guy is trouble.
Yeah, he looks like trouble.
Yeah. Motherfucker is going to do you so dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll thank him for the privilege. Look at him. Oh my God. Look, he looks like he's straight out of a romance novel. He looks like he's going to hurt your feelings.
I really need him to be in a season of Bridgerton or something.
Exactly.
He is giving Bridgerton. That is exactly right. You nailed it.
He 100% looks like he was drawn. So his name is Toby Sebastian for anybody playing at home. But he absolutely looks like he was cute in Game of Thrones because he was young. But now he's in his 30s and my man looks like he could cut glass with that jawline. Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's texting one of my friends while he's seeing me.
100%. He's going to gaslight you.
Devious.
Yes, definitely.
Untrustworthy. You cannot be that handsome.
Texting your friend you up.
Seriously.
What?
Oh my God. Did you see that TikTok of the guy who didn't know that his phone was connected to his car Bluetooth?
Yes.
So, okay, Cassie, this guy, first of all, this girl and her friend are in the car. The girl's in the passenger seat. Her friend's in the back seat. Friend MVP, because she had her phone out and recording the whole fucking time. And this guy was like outside of the car talking on the phone, but his phone was hooked up to his car, so she could see who he was talking to. And it said Blonde 8 and had a picture of a girl. And then he gets back in the car and she's like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "My mom." And he's like,
"Your mom's a blonde."
Like, are you sure? Are you sure you were talking to your mom? And when she's like, "We saw it. It was hooked up here to your car. Is hooked up."
He doubles down.
He gaslights her so hard. He's like, "Must have been a glitch. I don't know who that is." And
Sir.
she's like, let me see your phone log. And he refuses for the longest time, then pulls out his phone to show it to her, deletes something off his phone log, shows it to her, but her number is still on there. And she's like, "Who is that?" He's like, it's got to be a glitch. I don't know. Like, you're just making things up.
A glitch.
You better call Steve Jobs.
And meanwhile, the friend in the
Tim
backseat.
Cook.
Can you imagine being in the backseat of that situation?
Can you? I would be joining in. I couldn't help. I'd be like,
Christina couldn't not.
I couldn't not. Are you kidding me? It's a glitch with the Bluetooth and your Apple phone. And
it's a glitch. There's a picture. Where the fuck the picture come from?
Blonde 8? Is this person's
Blonde 8? Okay.
Christian name?
You sure about that?
I'd be like, call Gladys right now. Put her on speaker. I want to talk to her. But anyway, yes. Listen. I'm going to say this. Toby Sebastian, all those things. Yeah. All those things are true. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's also a Pisces. Look at him. And he's a musician.
Well, okay. So
well, that's out. He's out. I'm sorry.
I'm keeping him in the game. I'm keeping him in the game.
Oh my gosh. Guys.
Wait, I gotta look now.
I simply have to. His eyebrows are too good. He has to stay.
Yeah. Mine, Alex is a Sagittarius.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. He gives very calm energy. I didn't get that from him. I guess you got to get to know him a little bit before that fieriness comes out.
Right.
Dylan Efron is an Aquarius.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I dig that for me.
Interesting. Okay. This is our.
This is really hard.
What'd you say Max was again?
Max?
Who's Max?
Alex?
Sorry. Alex. Yes.
Sag. He's a Sagittarius. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. I know what I'm going to do.
All right. You go
the
for
easiest
it.
thing I've ever done.
Okay. Go for it.
I am going to marry Dylan Efron, obviously. I'm going to fuck, oh my gosh, what's his first name? Sebastian?
Yeah. Toby Sebastian.
Toby. Ugh. Toby.
Well, actually, I think his actual first name is Sebastian. He changed it. He changed it for his stage name. His actual name is Sebastian Toby M. Pugh, but he goes by Toby Sebastian. That's his stage name.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Seb.
Sebby.
Great.
Okay.
And I am gonna.
If his name was Sebastian, it would be too like evil villain. He would be
already
a
bad
villain
enough.
on
He
Gossip
has
Girl.
me in his phone as Brunette 3. Like
Shit. Yes.
Do not flame yourself like that.
I can barely get in bed with this man.
Looks
Okay, are you kidding
like
me? But
the
I am
boss's son. He is giving boss's son energy so fucking hard. I swear to God.
I don't care. I don't. I look at him. I don't care.
Oh my God.
It's too much.
It's
So
I can't.
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna marry Alex Watson.
Yeah.
I just think, and I've only seen very short clips of him, so I don't know. And fiery energy, I'm not sure, but I'm not not across the board for me.
Wow. I'm right here.
I know that wasn't directed at you, but I've got a picture of this man looking like Jesus holding a puppy, and
oh my God,
he's
totally.
just so cute, calm looking. His sister is Emma Watson. I just feel like we would spend all of
thing,
Christmas
though.
together.
He looks too much like Emma Watson.
I'm okay with it. I think she's hot.
Yeah,
so I'm fine with that.
I mean, like, it's Hermione. Like,
I'm okay.
But it's Hermione.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Amazing. I love it. And I feel like they're going to make me like really good tea. I'm going to get to wear one of those like paper crowns at Christmas. I'm stoked about it. I love it. And
it's
I do think
gin company.
Yeah. And it's a sustainable gin company. So, he cares.
Of course it is.
I love it.
And he loves puppies.
He loves puppies. And I really do feel like me and Emma Watson, we
would be so like besties.
Yeah, we just need to meet. I feel like we would be besties. Yeah. I too am going to fuck Toby Sebastian. I could not, it would be a mistake to try and wrangle this man into marriage. Just don't try.
No.
But I'm gonna fuck him for sure. I'm gonna fuck him, and then I'm gonna get close to Florence Pugh, and then we are also gonna be friends. And then me and Emma and Florence are gonna be unfucking stoppable.
Do you have a feeling though that like he and Florence have like some kind of secret language in which like I see them?
Oh my God.
Like I couldn't be around them. I'm not cool enough at all. Either of them.
Well, yeah, I do feel like I would be intimidated. I do feel like I would be intimidated hanging out with just the two of them. But I do feel like
and that's when I'm really at my best is when I feel intimidated.
Well, yeah, because I feel like they would force me to level up. They're gonna force me to level up. They're gonna force me to be better.
I am way too awkward. Yeah, I am doing something completely different, guys. Oh man,
don't do it, Christina.
I don't. Sag is different from an Aries.
It is.
Yes.
I think I'm going to give Alex Watson a try. I think I'm going to marry.
I think that's good.
Alex.
Okay.
I'm going to marry
so
Alex.
Worried that you were going to try to marry Troy, and I was like,
I don't think Toby. Yeah, I don't think.
Toby. God,
you just really don't like that name.
I can't. It doesn't fit.
No, he seems intelligent. He's a business owner. Mm-hmm. He's a businessman. Mm-hmm. And
he's British.
We love. And
oh yeah, that's another thing. Toby Sebastian is fucking British on top of everything else.
Okay. All right, get out.
Done.
You're done.
We're done with
We're
them.
done. I can't.
We can't.
He is. Listen. I can't fuck someone that attractive. Mm-hmm. I personally would not be able to enjoy myself because I'd be so
not symmetrical enough,
intimidated, all of the things. I'm going to go for the Christmas tree farmer that is Dylan Efron, and I'm going to fuck him. I also think he would try harder.
I do too.
I think he'd be better in bed. I
agree. He's going to be a little bit more of a giver.
Yeah.
I sense that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
great. I love it. I love these questionable decisions I'm making. Okay. We have a slew.
And that we have to do. That is always.
Yes, have to follow through. Yeah. You know, if I run into him out and about in Los Angeles, I will just let him know.
I'm sorry.
I committed you to something.
In my fuck, marry, kill, we did fuck.
So let's.
Are you
let's
free
go.
this evening?
Bend over.
Okay. We do have a slew of new patrons.
Hell yeah!
Yay! So I want to give a shout out to Sarah Bryers. Welcome. Susanna. I love it. Just a first name.
Love it.
Short and sweet, straight to the point.
I love that.
Shay, another first namer. Meyer 27.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Is that your Christian name or Catholic name?
Amazing. It's actually Meyer _27.
All right.
Yeah. And then this is a person who I think we missed a while back. And if so, I'm so sorry. But we want to give you a big worsty welcome, extra shout out now to Anna Larson.
What's up?
Thank you all so much for supporting us on Patreon.
Yes.
It means so much to us. We couldn't do any of this without you. We do it all for you.
And we're also going to be launching new merch soon in the Threadless. You can go on our one-stop shop of a website, myworstdatepodcast.com. It's Pro-Ho.
Pro-Ho. That's right. Yeah. And
I love it.
If you have any ideas for merch, if there's anything that we say on the podcast that you're like, oh, I'd love to have that on a t-shirt, don't hesitate to reach out. We would love, because I really want to kind of overhaul our entire merch store this year.
Yeah.
So we would love to take suggestions from you listeners on what you want to see. What would you wear? What would you carry around on a tote bag or a notebook? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
Cool. Let's do it.
And we're back. All right, Cass, kick us off with stories.
Okay. All right. So I got this as a submission. It says, hey guys, I love the podcast and in particular the dating disasters. I wanted to let you know about one that happened to me recently that was hilariously crazy in hindsight.
Okay.
I was on I was on a date before Christmas with a guy that I'd matched with on Bumble. Bumble. We went to a restaurant and he seemed quite nice and we were getting on quite well. After a few drinks, he then started telling me this story about how his friends had given him a wedgie on his birthday. He said it was tradition. We had a laugh and thought nothing more of it.
Later, we talked about this in the shorty this week, but I'm just like, what is going on in boy culture? What is boy culture? Just like we give each other wedgies on our birthdays. Why? For what?
It's so funny. Ha ha ha. We laughed and thought nothing more of it. Later that evening, after we had said bye, he then sent me a message where he mentioned the wedgie incident again and then asked whether I could wedgie him.
I was going to say, he's got a kink.
It's a kink.
He's got a kink or he wouldn't have brought it up again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was joking, but then he told me that he had a penchant for women with giving him wedgies. Okay. I ignored it, put it down to being drunk, and then we didn't mention it. Wait, I love this. I love that men are fucking bonkers. Women are like, he was drinking too much.
Look, we've adapted to make excuses for absolutely fucking everything. We're like, I'm sure this is nothing. I like him so much in so many other ways. I'm sure that this one weird thing is a fluke.
And also, if that's his sexual kink that him and his friends do every year for his birthday, I'm like, sir, like,
well, maybe they don't know.
Do we need to explore something here?
His friends don't know that that's his kink, I bet. And
again, it's like, did something happen in those formative years?
Yes. 100%. Yes. He's got when he was peaking in like his sexuality and coming into his sexuality, like, he was also getting wedgies at the same time. And those things are now inextricably linked together. Yes.
Intertwined. Mm-hmm. It says, when we then had chit chat over the next few days and then met to do some Christmas shopping and wander around town. About an hour in, he then asked me again if I could wedgie him.
Sir, we're at a fucking Kohl's.
Yeah. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Stop it. When was the last time you went to a Kohl's?
I don't know. I don't know why that's the first store that came. I think I've only been in once ever in my whole fucking life.
It's so perfect though. I could wedgie him and that he had a fetish for pretty girls wedgieing him. Like what a hard thing to say, by the way, wedgieing. Like
to each their own. Like if that's your thing, okay. But it's strange to keep bringing it up in this way in public,
right?
Yeah,
like it's not like we're having sexy times right now. Like,
it's not the place, sir.
Not the time or place.
This is not the place.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh!
Turns out he was serious though, and I politely declined his offer, and we went our separate ways. Yet another disaster for the life of. I'm going to keep this person's name out my mouth,
dude. Have you ever though, like, been with a partner who has a kink that you're like, that's not my favorite?
I mean, I don't know that.
No, but Christina, tell me.
Yes. Example.
Tell me more. No. Tell me more.
No, I've never really either. I haven't either.
Me neither. Like that it's a tricky one, right? Because it's like I don't want to shame anybody's like that. No. Like a wedgie kink isn't hurting anyone, and I suppose like if you were really in a relationship and it was during sex and that's something that like you wanted to do, okay. But wouldn't be like my cup of tea though at all. I would be doing it strictly. I think
it would take me out of it. Yeah. Where I'd be like,
I'd be doing it strictly to make you happy. Yeah, because that's not something that I would think is a turn on at all. And I do wonder, like people who have like that, it's, I've never heard of a wedgie kink before, but it's not as out of the box as some things that I've heard. People who have really,
like you said, it's not harming anybody,
not at all.
Right? I mean, nobody's getting hurt. It's
people
whatever.
who have really
totally
out of the box kinks. How do you even approach that? Like, how do you even bring it up? You know, like if you like,
well, you don't do it at Kohl's.
Shit on,
I think is what we've decided.
No, I think if you have like a kink that is, a little bit more out of the box, I think you have to go on like a site like Field
that, like,
or something like that specializes in it.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wedgie kink, it's like it's not harming anybody. It's not like doing any, but. Still,
it would be a turn off for me probably. Like I might do it once if
we
were in the middle of
again. Like you said, it's like, how is it approached? I mean, I don't want to talk about it over dinner. I don't want to
talk about it during Kohl's.
Right, when you're just scanning the racks at Kohl's.
Are they even still around?
Cash?
You know, if you reach down in my underwear, I have some Kohl's cash.
Yeah, it's in there.
You just gotta pull really hard.
Pull as hard as you can.
I've never gotten oh God, Cassie. I've never gotten a wedgie, like, you know, like an actual, like no one has ever given me a wedgie.
No, me either.
I thought you meant like just in general.
No,
like
of
your
course.
underwear has never ridden up. I was like, what's it like to be God's favorite?
I have definitely gotten plenty of those. But yeah, no, I've never like schoolyard bullies. It's one of those things that you thought was definitely going to happen more. 90s media, 80s media would have led you to believe that this is something, you know.
No.
You had to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I've just gotten like soul wedgies from bullies. Do you know what I mean? Like I think
deep cuts in your heart.
Deep wedgies in my heart. Like that's what girls do. We don't do wedgies.
And that's why we like dirty talk.
We do mental wedgies.
Insult me.
Tell me what a filthy bitch I am. During our formative years, we got bullied in a different way.
Oh, no.
That's right. Exactly. Oh, man. Unlocked something there for me.
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up in therapy.
BetterHelp.com/myworstdate. Okay. This is also a listener story. Hell yeah. A series of unfortunate dates, 2 for 1.
Oh, 2
so
for.
Here we go. She says, let me set the scene for you. It's 2018. I'm 21 years old, about 6 months out of a serious relationship in which my heart was broken. After 6 months of being single and avoiding all men, I decided it's time to pick myself up and get back out in the dating scene.
Pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's
Pick
right.
Pick yourself up by your underwear.
By your wedgie straps.
Tinder was all the rage at the time, so of course I gather my best pictures and come up with the cutest bio for my account. Ready to have some fun and take on the world. LOL, so naive. I get to swiping. Among the sea of unicorn-seeking accounts, dudes with pictures of holding dead animals they've hunted and pictures of just straight abs, also ew. Yeah, that's an accurate description of Tinder.
No.
I find a few semi-normal looking dudes. There were 2 that looked promising. All was well at first, normal chatting and getting to know one another a little before the dates. Of course, I'm writing to you now, so this, in fact, did not end well.
Oh.
Date 1. He sets up a time and place in the city at a very nice restaurant/bar. I arrive and am instantly met with a red flag. He was an absolute catfish. He used his own pictures, but obviously one from years ago.
Does that make people feel better? I feel like it must. Like psychologically, you must be like, it's not as bad of a catfish because it is me.
It is me.
It is me. I'm not
Babe,
lying.
It's me.
Babe,
Right.
5 years ago, me is a completely different person. Like,
I don't know
if I
her.
used 5 years ago pictures of me on Tinder now, people would feel fucking ripped off because I look completely different. Make sure your pictures are current, because then what's the end game? Like, why would I want
You're gonna
show up and someone's like disappointed?
You're gonna impress them with your sparkling personality.
No, I'm not. Not me.
That's gotta be what these people think. That like they think they're gonna be able to like charm their way out of it, right? Like, or else why would you do it?
Yeah, I guess maybe
Right.
because it's like, you know, you do want to get a lot of matches or whatever, but it's just it's it's short-term thinking.
Yeah.
It really is.
No consequences being played here.
Exactly. Yeah. Dude, I gotta get on the horn to like fucking Mattel or something and make that happen, because playing consequences as a child really helped me out. So, okay. We get on with the date. And conversation is decent, but he's your typical finance bro, and that's just not my type. I mentioned to him how I've never been to a casino, so he suggests we go to the one across the street.
A finance bro who wants to take you to a casino?
Ruh-roh. Yeah.
Ruh-roh, indeed.
Love that.
We go in and are playing roulette. He lets me pick the number, color a few times before we win about $150. I was really excited.
Yeah, I'm
Turned
done.
to him.
And then we left.
For me, yeah, I'm like, I just want $150. Sweet, bye.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yep.
But I was cut off by him saying in a flat, rude tone, "Oh, good. This will pay for all the money I spent on you." Awkward.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say and was super uncomfortable. Prior to this, I had offered to pay for my half of the date and he declined. I also offered to use my own money for the roulette bet and he also declined. So I was very thrown off and confused. After that, I suggested we leave. He walks me to my car and kisses me very abruptly and sticks his whole tongue in my mouth. I pull away disgusted without a word, get in my car, block him, and drive straight to my sister's house for a strong drink. Date 2, this was a few days later, and I was hopeful. This guy's more my type, normal-looking mid-20s guy. He sets up the time and place for our date. He says he knows a great spot that he goes to often. It was about 40 minutes from my house, so I get ready, looking adorable in my flowing sundress, and he gives me the address, and I'm on my way. As I pull up, I'm very confused. It's a mini golf place. A mini golf course. We definitely agreed to a lunch date, and I'm in no attire to go mini golfing.
Jesus, don't surprise me. Don't jump scare mini golf on me. Like I'm happy to do mini golf.
Listen,
but you gotta,
I love it.
Yeah,
I do too.
Let me
know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to be wearing heels around the fucking mini golf.
Unfair advantage to him if I'm in wedges.
Everybody knows that if I'm going to roll a joint, it's going to be an ankle, and it will for sure happen there.
Totally. I text him making sure I'm at the right place, and he assures me I'm not mistaken. We meet in the parking lot, exchange hellos, and I follow him, unsure of what we're doing. This particular mini golf place has a food stand attached to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm baffled as he gets in line to order food. No mention of mini golf. This is the nice restaurant you always go to? It's a dingy little food stand. I'm next to the mini golf.
Dude, look. Listen, if you came to me and you were like, I know it doesn't look like much, but this has the best fucking shawarma you're ever going to have in your whole fucking life.
Right.
Then I'd be like, okay, I'm like open to it. But
willing to try it.
You got to give me the sell. You got to sell it to me. If you take me to a little like...
You're like, this is a nice restaurant trying to impress. Listen, food slaps. The food slaps.
Exactly.
You know that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't try and sell me on a nice
I'm
restaurant.
Picturing the concession stand at the pool. That's what it's giving.
100%.
You're gonna get a slightly moist.
I'm gonna get a
bun.
hot dog.
Yeah.
And like
nachos.
Some nachos and like the Sour Patch Kids.
Yes.
God.
And the bun is gonna be a little soggy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Except for on the top where
Where
it's
it's
just
hard.
a little out of date.
Yeah. It's a little stale. Yeah. He ordered like 6 hot dogs, then turns to me and goes, "It's 2018. Women are strong and independent now. You can pay for this, right?" I say, sure, and order myself some French fries. I should have left then, but instead I sat and ate my soggy fries on those hard plastic benches. He talks and talks about his gym routine, how he makes women pay for dates because he doesn't want to be taken advantage of.
Okay.
It's
Sir. Fucking love that.
Are the resources in the room with you?
Yeah. You don't want to be taken advantage of? Like what was that guy on TikTok who made that tweet?
Toilet paper on the bed.
And he had no sheet.
She said, I love that though. Are the racehorses in the room with you?
Yeah. Like, bro, like, sorry. You're stapling your curtains to the wall.
You don't have a fucking headboard. You don't have a fucking sheet. It's just raw dog mattress. Like, fucking just... What?
Always, I'm like, look, if you're going to use that line, just show me the receipts. I need to see your credit card statement. I need everything. At least 2 to 3 pay stubs. If you're going to be coming out here.
What's that retirement account look like? Are you with Vanguard, sir? Please.
I just don't want any gold diggers. Where's the gold? Where is it?
Where's the gold? Have you seen gold?
Jesus.
Do you know what gold is?
Fucking ridiculous.
She says, I don't think I even got a word in. I left and went straight to the bar. I posted a picture of my fat margarita on my Snapchat story, completely forgetting he's able to see it. He responds to my story and says, that bad of a date, huh?
Sure.
I reply, yes. Wait till he reads it, then block him.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Jesus Christ. Like,
amazing. Thank you so much for writing in.
It's rough out there. Okay. This is also a listener story. So we are 3 for 3 today. That's awesome.
Keep them coming.
Okay. This one, she says, is a bit more appropriate for spooky season. But you know me, I'm a spooky bitch. Spooky all year round.
All the time.
Love it.
So in college, I dated Todd, a strange guy who turned out to be violent and abusive.
Ugh.
Oh, Jesus.
He slut-shamed me for not being a virgin when we met. He worshipped his ex-girlfriend and always made me feel worthless. I have always had low self-esteem, and this was back in the 1980s when women weren't as empowered as they are today. Now there's a sisterhood. Back then, you were on your own. He told lies about me to my family members and even started attending my family's church, told the preacher and congregants lies, and turned everyone there against me.
Holy shit.
Fuck you, Todd.
Fucked up, yeah. Todd would say things like that he had me followed from school or work or wherever, and that I'd better not even look at another man. He told me, okay, this is content warning here. He told me that he would kill me and put my body in a vat of acid so no one would ever find me.
What?
That
the fuck
is
did
not,
you just say?
Yeah, I have been in arguments, fights even.
Never once have I thought to say something like that to someone.
And never once has someone said that to me. Like, that is just not a normal thing to say.
Did you see... Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't bring this up earlier. Did you see that TikTok where a guy was on a fucking podcast, of course, a man with a microphone, and he said, he's like, a woman should be physically smaller than you. And he's like, and you're like, okay, a lot of men have this awful take, right? But he's like, a woman should be physically smaller for you. Like, it should feel like you could kill her if you had to. Like, you could pick her up and throw her against the wall.
If you had to?
And I'm like, what the why?
Sir?
In public? You're saying, once again, I'm just like, you feel confident enough with that take.
You're going to put that out on an RSS feed, my bruh?
On video? Where everybody can see your face? Okay.
Wowzers.
All right. Anyway, people are not okay out there. All right. So, Todd, he was a power lifter and may have been on steroids, though he denied it. So, roid rage may have been part of the issue. He was friends with Jim. Jim and I had been friends while I was dating Todd, and our friendship developed into love, so we got married. Todd was pissed and felt betrayed by us. He was very angry and very bitter. Yeah, he seems like a scary person to piss off.
Yeah.
Over the years, Todd would call and say things like, I see you're getting fat, or, you know, a real woman could... Okay, again, I'm going to pause right here. Content warning for infertility. If you're sensitive for this, skip ahead. So, or, you know, a real woman could carry a baby to term. I lost 4 babies to miscarriage.
So wait, he is years after.
Years after she's married to someone else, he's calling their house to say these things to her.
Well, tell on yourself that you don't have a fucking life, that you are
hung up on
a complete...
me. Yeah.
This is really fucked up.
Yeah. He usually called around my and Jim's anniversary or his birthday or other dates significant only to him. He'd try to guilt me or shame me for different things, and for the first few years, it affected me, but after a while, I was over it and over him. Several home and phone number changes, and I stopped hearing from him. He disappeared off the map for me, and it was great. After a number of years, Jim and I divorced, but remain extremely close friends and even live together now. So social media happened, and I blocked several people I never wanted to hear from. As he hadn't been on my mind in years, I didn't think of blocking him when I first got my account. Every now and then, Jim would ask me to look up some old friend or work acquaintance with him, and I finally thought to look up Todd. He didn't have any social media accounts, so I couldn't block him. I decided to Google him to see if I could find him. So I could block him from ever contacting me again.
In jail.
That's when I found his obituary.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I was stunned and confirmed with Jim that it was him. For the first time in decades, I felt like I could relax and breathe again. I had always been braced for that other shoe to drop, and now it was never going to happen. Woo, what a relief. So one night last year, close to mine and Jim's former anniversary date, we were sitting in the living room watching TV when the phone rang. I have phone service through my cable company, so whenever someone calls, their name and number pop up on my TV screen. Todd's full name and 30-year-old phone number popped up on the screen.
Fuck you. What?
What the actual fuck? My heart stopped, I couldn't breathe, and my body was tingling from the top of my head to the tips of my fingers and toes in that way you feel when you know someone is watching you, but you are willing yourself not to acknowledge them or look their way. I looked at Jim, he looked at me, we both turned back to the TV to see the name and number again as the phone continued to ring, and back at each other. We both asked each other, "Are you seeing this? Is this really happening?" My phone was in the bedroom, but I was too scared to move and not sure I wanted to answer the phone and talk to whoever or whatever was on the other end of the line.
Oh my God.
We tried to continue the night as normal, but couldn't stop thinking about what happened and talking about how weird it was. The next morning, Jim called the funeral home where Todd's funeral was held and confirmed that it really did occur. He was able to talk his way into having them send a copy of the death certificate. It really was him in that grave. So who or what called and what did they want to say? I hope to never find out.
Oh my God. I would have picked up.
I think I would have picked up too. I couldn't have helped it. I would have picked up.
Yeah. I'm too curious.
I have to know.
But that is terrifying.
Terrifying. Because I thought about it. I was like, oh, well, maybe this was like a family member or something. But one, why would they be calling? Two, she's had several different moves, several different phone numbers. And 3, it's his phone number from 30 years ago. Which should be assigned to someone else at this point. So that is truly bizarre. Thank you so much for writing in.
That is a spooky season.
God, that could be like full body chills.
Spooky, creepy.
That's
yeah.
awful.
And also, we do want to say that we are so happy that you survived that situation, because that person was terrifying.
Yeah, truly.
Todd.
Ooh. Yeah, the worst. Oh, well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with the Tainted Love?
Yes.
And we're back. And it's my turn to do the Tainted Love because I actually remembered and I did it. And I had no surprises. All right. So, okay. So the story I'm going to tell you, I forgot to write down the resources on my page. So they will be in the show notes.
They'll be on the website. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There'll be, yes, thank you, on the website. But my story starts out in Yakima, Washington. It's Sunday the 13th, 2007. A call comes in from the sheriff's office. It's a very calm, practical Scott Sunford. He's explaining that he's just gotten home, or he's on his way home. He was out of town for a family funeral. He says that the past day he's had like alarms trip at his house, which he thought was very weird, but it was a new alarm system. So he was like, didn't like overthink it too much, except that his wife, Desiree, was at home and she wasn't responding to any of his calls. So these alarms are going off at like 3:30 in the morning. And he's like, this is really weird. So his wife, Desiree, should be there. Again, she's not responding. So by the time he makes it home, he notices right away that there's a board on the back door that covers like these windows that you could tell it's kind of like probably like a temporary fix type situation. But the board had been broken and it looked like somebody had tried to break in. When the police arrive, Scott is in his car. He has his lights like on the house, but he's holding a pistol. He's pistol drawn. He's like, I can't go in.
Okay.
I'm too scared to go inside. He tells the officers he doesn't know what's going on, but he's too scared to go into the house. As soon as the officers go inside, and for the officers, they're like, this is a red flag. But I don't know. I don't know how I would react in this situation.
Yeah, I could go either way on that. Yeah, because I think that there could be good reason to say, you know, like, let's wait for... I could see it going both ways. Like, if you're really scared your loved one could be in danger, I could see that adrenaline pushing you to go in and try and do something. I could also see waiting for backup, like waiting for authorities if you really feel like maybe there's a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
for sure. Somebody could be in the house.
Exactly. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, you know, I probably wouldn't have gone in. But I mean, I also don't know. I'm like, if my loved one was in there. Yeah. So, yeah.
I could go either way. I don't think there's a wrong or right response necessarily. I don't think you know what you're going to do until you're in that situation.
Yeah, the officers that they talked to on the show were like, oh, it was a real red flag. And I kind of will explain a little bit later when I tell you a little bit about his background, but like, I'm just like, I don't know if that to me is an immediate red flag. I also had the same process of like, I don't know what I would do. I've never been in that situation. I probably, especially if I had a gun, I probably would have gone inside, but that I don't think there's a blanket statement that could be said. The police, when they do arrive, do enter the house and quickly find the body of Desiree on the floor. She has multiple gun wounds. Desiree Sunford is a middle school art teacher. I mean, middle school art teacher. Like, what else do you need to know? Like,
I mean,
of course she's, I mean, that's the best.
Yeah, art teachers are the best.
Exactly. If you got to be a teacher, that's the one you want to be. Like, it's one everybody likes. And everybody did like her. And she was a middle school art teacher. She was so well loved in the community. She had a lot of outside interests, including riding motorcycles. So, I mean, and of course, it's that classic, like, everybody loved her. But it kind of felt like she was really just kind of this, like, fun-loving, always happy, always kind of making a joke, kind of silly personality that, you know, a lot of people really liked her. And no one, like literally nobody is like, can understand why on the earth somebody would ever want to go after, you know, or harm this well-loved person in the community. And the police immediately are like, well, this was not like a botched robbery. She clearly has like multiple gun wounds, you know, so whoever did this had a mission, and that mission was to unalive Desiree, you know, period. Police, of course, draw the very short line between the husband and, you know, this murder. And they bring him in for questioning. He says that he had talked to Desiree the evening before. He'd been in the Tri-Cities area. He was there for a funeral with his family. You know, they were there for a funeral. He called her. He was like, I'm just too tired to make the drive back tonight, so I'm going to stay here. But he said that when he started seeing these 3 a.m. alarms, you know, he being triggered. He said he called Desiree multiple times on his way home, again, to no answer. He said the closer he got to home, the more worried he was and the more convinced he was that something bad had happened. And that, again, once he arrived, that's when he saw the broken wood on the back of the door. Police are interested, though, because, okay, here's kind of like why they felt like this was a red flag. They're like, this man is 6'4", military veteran who's been in combat twice. They're like, why wouldn't you immediately storm in and, you love your... I mean,
that is... you know, also kind of an assumption. It's like, just because they have been into battle, maybe that makes them more scared, you know? Like, PTSD is a thing. that's just such an assumption.
It's not the same situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you guys feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, I think it could go either way. I think that we've definitely told stories where people have rushed in, and also I feel like those people get scrutiny too, because then they're like,
you can't do anything right.
You can't do anything right.
Literally can't.
I also, like right now I'm listening to the case file on Amanda Knox. There's a new episode. Right. And I'm just like, look, we cause a lot of problems whenever you just start assuming things right away. And I get it. We do a lot of fun speculation on this podcast when we tell these stories, but I'm not law enforcement. So
yeah, exactly. Okay? My speculation will not put you in jail for the rest of your life or put you on death row. So, yeah. Anyway, police, again, interested in why he doesn't just take this, bulldog approach to just rushing in. He tells police that it wasn't that he was afraid that there might still be somebody inside. He said that what his real fear is that he would walk in and see his wife in a state that he wasn't prepared for. And so it really had nothing to do with, his masculinity. It just had everything to do with I've convinced myself on this drive down that there's something I could be walking into that is, I don't want to see,
Right. Because this is a several hour drive that he made, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And she's still not picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It would, I think my mind would go to the same place.
Same. Yeah.
Totally. And I also agree. I don't know that I'd be as worried exactly like he said. And the way he stated it, it was just like, yep, that's where my mind went too. Like, I don't know what I'm walking into, but I tell you right now, I'm not prepared to see a dead spouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say though, that other side of me is like, but what if I had gone in and I had been there in time to do,
I agree. So, I'm right there with you, Cassie. I think that your mind goes in all different directions. I would like to say that I think I would go in, but again, I don't know in that situation what you do.
Fortunately, never had to be put in that situation.
Right. Fear does weird things.
100%. And just like Christina said, especially having been in war, having been in combat, having had all that, I mean, PTSD, like you said, is a very real thing. And, your reaction as somebody who hasn't gone through that is going to be very different from somebody who has. So who knows? You can't speculate on these things. There's not one right answer. The most shocking thing, though, to police is that he has this, what they are saying, a complete lack of emotion. I will tell you that because the show that I watched shows him in his interrogation, and he does do this thing where he's like, kind of like a suck it up type of speech to himself. He's like, don't think about her. Don't, like it sounds to me, the way I interpreted it was that he was trying to like keep a clear head so he could help them. I think they were like, oh, he's done something.
Well, it sounds like they, from what I'm hearing in this story is like, it sounds like everything he's doing, they're attributing something to it. I don't think it would have mattered what he did. Like, it sounds like they assumed that he had done something from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so anything is
cried
then
too much. He was too emotional.
Yeah.
You can't win. You can't win.
Well, you can if you're like lawyer.
That's exactly
lawyer immediately.
Always. Every time.
I just would never ever interact with the police in any way, shape, or form without a lawyer present.
100%. Absolutely. Police ask him, though, of course, to go through the story again. They feel like he's showing a lack of emotion. This is, again, him telling the story. They're looking for him to fuck up, of course. He tells police that he didn't stay with family, which they hadn't asked him before. They were like, did you stay with family when you're in the Tri-Cities? He was like, no, I stayed at a mutual friend's. Her name's of him and Desiree. Her name's Paige. Police want to know if he and Paige had ever had any type of sexual relationship. This is what I do find weird. He deflects that and says, he tells the officers that he wants to make sure that the officers are aware that actually it was Desiree and Paige who had a bit of a thing going on at one time. But then he admits that, yes, all three of them had been into a relationship.
Okay.
And they were like, well, do you think that Desiree would have been upset that you stayed with her? And he's like, no, this is, we all had this mutual arrangement.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is when it starts to get like,
we're calling Paige. Beep boop beep boop boop. Exactly. We're gonna ask Paige. She gonna say the same thing?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They didn't. So the question then proceeds like, well, then did you have an open relationship? And he's like, we didn't have an open relationship. We just had this.
We just had Paige.
Just Paige.
Just Paige.
Just Paige.
Okay.
Only Paige.
She's the only exception.
So of course, that's exactly what they do. Mm-hmm. Beep, boop, boop, boop. Hi, we need to speak to Paige. And the police do interview her about that weekend. And she says that she met Scott on, kind of like background, met him in February of 2011, that he had subsequently met Desiree just a few months after that in May. She corroborates Scott's story and that they had a sexual relationship with both of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that she saw, he saw her Saturday after the funeral, that was the plan. He came over to her house Saturday after the funeral. The officers, of course, think, this feels a little rehearsed. It feels a little bit like you're telling the exact same story a little too close to exactly the thing that he said. So maybe there was some coaching. So they dig in a little further and try to get like anything that's not connecting, but nothing really is popping up, right? Paige, though, is on the suspect list, right? She's person of interest for sure.
Well, they would both have to be. I can't fault the. Of
course,
I can't fault the police for that. They would both have to be. Yeah.
I mean, to me, now you're including another woman, a three-way relationship. There's
things get messy. Yeah.
Messy indeed. So at this time, the report of Desiree's death, they're like getting like some of the ballistics and all the things back that, forensics and details like that are coming in. And it is confirmed that she was shot 9 times with a 9mm Glock. And that forensics in the house had also revealed some shoe prints. They were able to match them to a specific size and a tread matching a Dr. Scholl's men's 12 to 14 in size. Police
it's a big foot,
using
right?
Yeah.
12 to 14. That's a big shoe size.
I thought the same thing. I was like, that's pretty broad, but I guess maybe, I don't know if like, maybe they're like taking in consideration like any,
the step.
I don't know.
I just mean in general, a size 14 is a big foot.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's, and also too, like that is a pretty big gap though, between 12 and 14.
Yeah, it is.
Like if you have a size 12, you're not walking around in a 14 and likewise, police are using also cell phone tracking to see, the towers on Scott's phone. Like, was he where he said he was? And it's all lining up with what he said. So they're like, we don't really have
right. You got to
anything.
Start looking for some alternatives now. You got to start looking for some other suspects.
Right.
Don't mark him off the list.
By, though.
But you got to look for some other people.
No, you're still number 1 and 2.
We're going to put a pin in that.
1A and 1A and 1B right here. But a year goes by, and even though their eyes are on Paige and Scott, there is no evidence that links them enough for an arrest, and the case starts to go cold. It's then on July 26th, the following year, police get a call with an anonymous tip that said that Desiree's killer was a man named Marty Grismer.
Okay. Who be Marty?
That's what the police said. This is not a name that came up in the investigation at all. This name is out of nowhere. The police are like, okay, well, we can't just go find Marty Grismer. We need to know, like,
boop, boop, boop.
Is this your ex-girlfriend?
Is this Marty?
Like, it's Chris Paxton. It's definitely him,
Right, especially with an anonymous tip. It's like,
Right. It could be anybody who's just like mad at an ex-boyfriend, you know?
I mean, so I'd still like, call him, but you got no leads a year in. I'd find him at least. You know? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, this is a no leads case, so they definitely take it seriously, but they do need to know who sent the anonymous tip. So they track the call, and lo and behold, they trace it back to Paige Blades.
Oh, Paige, you waited all this time? You were sitting on this Marty information and you waited till now?
Well, suspicious. And that's exactly what the police said. They're like, why wouldn't you just come in and tell us? You know, like, why an anonymous tip? This is so bizarre, right? So they bring Paige back in for questioning, and she identified Marty and says that she knows him from work, that they had initially dated when they first met, but that Marty found out about Scott and she told him that she couldn't see him anymore. Marty, as she tells police, he takes care of her. He got her house. He bought her a car with cash, pays for her insurance, goes to the grocery store for her.
Okay.
Nope.
Wow.
Talk amongst yourselves. Go for it.
Why would he kill Desiree? That doesn't make sense, because it's just like, if he's jealous of Scott, why would he take out Scott's partner, leaving Scott free to date Paige? Like, why?
Yeah.
There's
the
a
math
lot
ain't
of questions.
Yeah.
It's very questionable, but she says that she had told Marty. So it's basically at this point, she's just like, he's like one of my best friends. He does anything for me. Anything I want, he will protect
where's
me.
She finding these friends? These friends that are paying your bills.
I want house friends.
And buying you houses and cars. I'm sorry, y'all are slacking. Where's my car, Christina?
Seriously. God damn.
He's just one of my buddies.
Anyway,
one of my
gotta
friends.
go, guys.
What?
She says that she told Marty that she was pregnant, and that just a few weeks before Desiree was murdered. So there was a lot going on here. She also says that she told him recently.
What's this have to do with Desiree? Not a goddamn thing.
Not a motherfucking thing. She also says that she told him recently that Scott had started, quote, seeing another woman. She says that Marty asked if she wanted him to take care of this new woman like he had done with Desiree. She tells them that Marty had said that he went through, they were like, what details did he give you about this crime? And she's like, said he went through the front door, the alarm went off, the dog came out, was barking. He said Desiree came out, he shot her 3 times, and then she fell on the floor and he shot her some more. He said then he went out the back door and like kicked out the wood panel. So like she's describing some of the details that they know, right? Police are like, okay, well, can you wear a wire for us and get Marty to talk? That way we can get it on record. Like basically this is just hearsay right now. So on August 8th, Paige decides meets up with Marty to see if she can get him to confess on tape. Marty's not giving up anything though. He's very they play some of the audio. It's almost like she was like, don't say anything, because he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're mixing up dreams with reality. He's like, just like,
I have to be honest. If they were good friends, like if I met either of you wearing a wire and I was like, I need you to give me information, I feel like I could give you enough facial expressions to be like, don't say a fucking thing. And you'd be able to read me well enough to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have to say anything.
Mine would be so obvious that the police would even know. Like my face would be like, hey, Keegan.
Tell me about that murder.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you murdered that lady. You'd be like, God damn it. There's no way she's going to talk.
Also, like the motivation is so he's just a friend.
It's weird.
A really good friend that finances her lifestyle and does murder just to make life more comfy for her. I'm like,
but was life even uncomfy? It sounds like, by her admission, like things between Scott and Desiree and her were fine. Like the way that it doesn't seem like, at least they haven't uncovered anything that makes it sound like Paige was super jealous of Desiree and Scott's relationship. And also what she has said is that what's his face, the guy,
Scott,
not the other guy,
Marty,
that Marty was the jealous one here. So why would he? It doesn't make sense. If he was going to kill someone, why wouldn't he kill Scott?
Right.
That's honestly what the police say too. They're like, it doesn't really line up.
Yeah.
But, and again, because Marty's not giving up anything, this starts to get, again, a little chilly. We're not getting, this isn't enough information for us to arrest somebody on. But then 3 months later, out of the blue, one of the managers at Marty's work called and said that while they were cleaning the offices, they found a bag of gun parts in his stuff. And police went over, picked up the gun parts, and were like, let's get these tested. And ballistics checks do conclude that this is the barrel that was used to shoot Desiree Sunford.
Interesting. So, the plot thickens.
So now, what's that?
Is that the plot thickens?
Oh, the plot thickens. I thought you said something with a question.
No.
Sorry, the remote recording.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's now November 2014, right? So a lot of time has passed, right? Police bring Marty in for questioning. Marty sits down with the police. He's easily admits that he has guns, that he does have a 9mm Glock. He says here's where you can find it. It's in the back of my wife's van. I keep it there. There are bullets, there's ammo with it, everything like that. Feel free to run tests, right? Police established that he and Paige are very close friends. And he even says that, Paige was the best man in his wedding. That early in the relationship, they had, he had done a lot for her in the hopes that a relationship could be formed. But nevertheless, even though they did stay friends, right? And they remained close friends. But Marty vehemently denies that he has ever killed anyone. It would never kill someone for someone else.
Oh,
right.
I'm side-eyeing Paige now.
For real.
I got some money on that.
She put herself in it too. Imagine making it anonymous to... Okay.
Imagine framing somebody that bought you a house.
Couldn't be me, that's for sure.
Well, Marty admits that the barrel from the gun from the Glock that was his, but that gun, he actually had let Paige borrow that gun last year. He's like, yeah, she had it from February to March. But the murder happened in April. So now the detectives are like, okay. The detectives ask if he wears a Dr. Scholl's style shoes. He says yes, and that he wears a size 12 to 14.
What?
He literally says those words on...
Are men's shoe sizing... Is it just different? Is it like women's jean sizing where it's you can be anywhere from a size 2 to a 6 depending what store you're at? Is it like that for men's shoes? Because I don't
think so.
I would never say I'm between a size 7 and 9. That's a big big difference.
You're either an 8 or you're a 9. Or
I'm
you're
a 7.5 to
maybe
8, depending on the shoe.
That's right.
That's
right.
But two sizes.
Two sizes is a lot. Yeah.
No.
Men chime in. Let us know.
During the interview, though, the police are actually executing a search warrant on Marty's father's house because this is where he was living at the time. They do find 2 pair of Dr. Scholl's shoes that are a size 13.
Okay, split the difference.
That match the description of the sole prints from the scene. He is still adamant, though, that he has not killed anyone. Police, hope too, they're continuing, even though they have this literally smoking gun, they're like, okay, we're going to continue this interview because we're hoping that at some point he's going to give up Paige and Scott as accomplices, but nothing comes of it. This is the most insane case because I will be honest with you, they charge him. And, as they're about to take him to prosecution, the prosecution basically is their witnesses are a little questionable. because I'm certain their witnesses are basically fucking Paige, and she's not necessarily a believable witness. So they offer him an Alford plea, and he's given 15 years. He's due to be released in 2028. But I'm
this
like,
doesn't make any sense.
No.
Why would he have murdered her?
Yeah, what's the motive?
Any sense. I feel the same way, and I'm like, there's not, to me, this doesn't feel satisfying.
Not
because
at all.
But he wouldn't give up anything. And they're like, your girl Paige is like fucking throwing you right under the bus. And he's like, yeah, that's
Paige. I don't know. What?
I have friends. Listen, Christina, Keegan, I would do just about anything. But if you try to fucking set me for murder,
we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
I don't know what to
think
say.
that's fair across the board.
And you know how hard it is for me. I might actually still be like,
maybe I should give him a second chance.
They might be doing it for a good reason. Oh, I don't know.
I would struggle. I might be Marty. I might be like, well, I don't know. But
wow,
you got me twisted. 15 years in prison.
Yeah, this is so he did he even really try it? It doesn't sound like he tried very hard to defend himself. Like he was just like, I didn't do it. Yeah, I'll take the Alfred plea. What? Like
I'm completely flummoxed. It makes no sense to me. I just am like, why? First of all, why would you not defend yourself more heartily?
Yeah.
If you know you didn't do it, but then there's just like, you can't. There is enough, I think, evidence to put him there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, why? You're absolutely why? Why would you?
It makes no sense. It makes
and
no
especially
sense
the way
if
that
Paige. It makes no sense unless Paige is involved and asked him to do it. Like
that's right.
Because he had no connection to Desiree.
Yeah.
Why
would
on
it
his
matter?
own would he go down there to do that?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I would also be asking the question, like, Scott stayed with Paige that night. Did Paige suggest that? Was that something to keep Scott from going home so that Desiree would be home alone so that she could tell Marty to go over there? Like, I feel like Paige had to have been involved in some way, right?
Right. Had to.
Again, I'm not an investigator. I don't know if I need to say that on this podcast, but
I know, but I think those are all valid questions that I myself was like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. There's no reason for him to have done, like you said, even if he was jealous or even if he was like still deep down somewhere hoping to have a relationship with her, he's not taking out the person would block the relationship from happening.
Right.
He's just quote unquote doing her a favor she didn't ask for. And that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Makes no fucking sense at all.
So
bizarre.
To me, this is like quote unquote closed case, but I'm like, I have 1,000 questions. I don't feel like justice really has been served in this, which makes it.
Maybe someday Marty will talk. Maybe someday he will tell the whole story. Because I feel like only he can, like him and Paige isn't going to say anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paige has come out and like, which I got to be honest with you, I didn't even listen to because I was like, no,
no, ma'am.
Like no, because unless you're out here confessing your part in it, I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. And I know what that's going to be. It's going to be you being like, I just don't know why he did that. And I just feel so bad for, it's just going to be.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't watch the Cassie Anthony. I watched like the first episode of that on what was it, Peacock or Paramount or whatever it was, and then I was just like, all right, we're done. Like,
yeah, I couldn't even turn it on.
Are you talking about where they interview her fucking parents?
No, I was talking about like they had a docuseries where it was like where they interview Cassie Anthony and like they sit and they talk to her and like they like look at her life now and everything, and it's just such a clear like. See what a normal person I am. See how awful this thing was for me, and I was just like, I'm not interested in that. But I did see the thing, and I didn't watch it, where they put her parents on a lie detector.
Girl, I cannot. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Just the fucking idea that they would do that is so gross. First of all, lie detectors we know are notoriously fucking not
faulty. Yeah. Reliable. Yeah. They're not reliable.
Not reliable. And then you're going to literally, it's so fucking gross to me. It's so gross. And the miscarriage of justice has already been so fucking done. Like, what is the fucking point?
Yeah, we got to stop with that case. Enough, Well, gross. Wow, Cass, that was a wild
I never heard that story, right?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
That is deeply unsatisfying, though, I have to say.
I know, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
I'm not watching anything new. I did finally make my way all the way through The Leftovers, so I guess it was new because I'd never seen the third season. Wow, that show takes a fucking turn. I was like, what is happening by the third season? The second season was a little wacky, but I was still
we're on a
track,
yeah,
right. And then the third season, they were like, fuck the track. We're going to Australia and we're doing some weird shit there. Okay,
yeah.
But the cast, I will say, is some incredible talent on that show. So yeah.
I am. We do this every year now with the Oscars. We try to watch all of the different Oscar movies, and so we watched The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, how was it?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Heartwarming.
I love Paul Giamatti.
Lovely.
I think it's on Peacock, so I might try and watch it.
It's giving the same vibe of if you liked Dead Poets Society.
Oh, word.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
That's not what I was expecting.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, it's just that whole teacher-student it's just really good, and then the way that it's filmed too makes it look like film, so it's giving
nostalgia,
90s nostalgia movie, and I really enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend it.
That makes me feel like I want to make soup and watch that later. Maybe
that's exactly what I had soup and I watched that movie.
Yeah, sounds
very
good.
comforting.
I've eaten a lot of soup lately. There's a lovely vegan vegetarian soup options here.
I feel like I don't know why. I just feel like Germany has good soup. They seem a strong soup country.
Bitch it cold.
Yeah.
Get yourself something nice and warm in that
exactly.
I have been watching a show on so I've figured out how to use my VPN, and I've been able to watch all of my shows. So
nice.
I've been just kind of comfort watching this show called The Coroner. It's a BBC show that only had 2 seasons, unfortunately, but it's such a good, kind of great end of the night.
Nice.
Not too much commitment as far as
low stakes.
It's a light murder.
Yes. A cozy murder. A cozy murder story. I do love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not quite as light as a Shakespeare and Hathaway type situation, but
it's not a murder she wrote.
Exactly. Yeah.
The coziest.
It's a step down from, it's somewhere between Miss Marple and,
there you
gotcha.
go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, hey, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, or if you want to just check out the new merch or reach out and say hello, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.